after Oldham with Joe Royle had reached their only final in 1990. Boundary Park, one of the coldest and highest grounds in the entire Football League. Oldham have been first round fallers in 6 of the last 9 League Cup seasons. Though their form in the friendlies has been pretty good, they had a win here over the champions no less, Manchester City, a couple of weeks ago, and they are unbeaten in all their friendlies. Their last was a goalless draw with second tier Huddersfield Town. As for Wednesday, they are looking to build on last season's promotion under Dave Jones. Went up as the runners-up in League One. Got their promotion on the final day in front of a full house at Hillsborough against Wycombe Wanderers. And they are hopeful of being a force in the second tier. Let's check on tonight's team news. There's an Oldham debut for Jordan Slew, 19, Sheffield, born on loan from Blackburn Rovers, but he made his name with Sheffield United. He's one of 8 Oldham players under 24 in tonight's team. Jonathan Ground signed on a free from Middlesbrough. He scored the winner here in that game against champions Manchester City. Slew and Robbie Simpson, the Latics front two. Lee Croft is on a season's loan from Derby County. Wednesday have been busy across the close season. Chris Kirkland, Anthony Gardner, Chris Maguire and Slovenian Nate Pechnik are all brand new. Centre-back Miguel Llera scored some vital goals in the run-in last season, as did Mikel Antonio. He signs for keeps after a sizzling loan spell from Reading. This the Al system. Jermaine Johnson faces his former club, but Kieran Lee, signed from the Latics, does not feature. Well, the Wednesday fans who have travelled here, always a team who bring tremendous support with them. As I say, the last game, last campaign, Hillsborough, full house, thick end of 40,000 to see them beat Wycombe to clinch their place back in the second tier of the English game. Winners of this League Cup trophy way back 1991 as a second tier team under Ron Atkinson. The final saw them beat no less a figure than Alex Ferguson's Manchester United. That was then, this is now. Has been a lean few years for the Wednesdayites. Had that epic tussle with their city rivals United for promotion last campaign. They had the last laugh Wednesday. The Latics of Oldham, like Wednesday, Premier League founder members, but they now down in the third tier, 16th last season, a one-place improvement on the year before. This Paul Dickov's third season as Latics boss, but a team who, under Joe Royle on the plastic pitch here in years gone by, were League Cup heavyweights. Indeed, one of their players, Frankie Bunn, still holds the record for goals in a match, 6 goals in a League Cup tie against Scarborough here 22 years ago. Jose Semedo leads the Owls tonight, the Portuguese captain of Sheffield United. In his second season now, the former Sporting player in Lisbon, had a spell too in Cagliari in Italy's Serie A. Alex Cizak, an Australian goalkeeper, one of 3 Aussie goalkeepers on the books here at Boundary Park for Oldham. And what about Chris Kirkland? 6 years ago got his one and only England cap this month against Greece. Now looking to rebuild and reshape his career in the second tier with Sheffield Wednesday after his release by Wigan last season. Got a glimpse there of Lee Croft too, on loan with Oldham from Derby. Second loan spell here. His first came 8 years ago from Manchester City. Very tight and compact tunnel here at Boundary Park. It is a proper old school, old fashioned stadium. Hasn't changed too much down the years. But Oldham hoping for a big campaign in League One. Lost home and away to Wednesday in the third tier last season. 2-0 here, 3-0 at Hillsborough. Amazing that we only had the Olympic Games football final, 2 days ago. And if you take the first game of the new season as the Community Shield, the gap between the two campaigns was just 20 short hours. Well, now at Boundary Park, English competitive football is back. Round 1 of this, the League Cup, the Capital One Cup this season. from the third tier in the blue, Oldham Athletic. In the yellow, their change colours here, the team from the second tier, the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday, for a place in round 2. Dave Jones, 15 years ago, took Stockport County to the semi-final. Last season, he came in March to replace Gary Megson and led the Owls to promotion. Lovely, lush, green surface for this, the first proper game of the season for these two clubs. Their league campaigns kick off at the weekend, but today the Cup takes centre stage. Oldham in the dark blue. Tickets here have been at a decent price. Adults £10, concessions half that, so should be a good and raucous noise here inside Boundary Park for this, the first meaningful game of these two clubs' seasons. Well, Wednesday have been keen to certainly build on last season and bring several new faces in. The goalkeeper there, one of them, thumbs up from Chris Kirkland. It was an epic battle last season to win promotion. League One is, for me, one of the strongest divisions in terms of all teams being very evenly matched. But Wednesday, like Oldham, were Premier League founder members 20 years ago. And there's a man, as I say, just 6 years ago when he's won an only cap for England versus Greece, now aiming to refashion a career with Sheffield Wednesday. And Jordan Slew, 19, Sheffield born, on loan from Blackburn, but made his name with Sheffield United. Cost Blackburn over £1 million a year ago. Nate Pechnik of Slovenia. I read one fan's tweet saying he's going to be the Modric of the Championship. That might be a touch premature, but certainly a player with pedigree in the World Cup squad 2 years ago for Slovenia. Nate Pechnik signed from Nacional in Portugal for the new season. This is Dickov and Jones with the hearty pre-match handshakes. Should mention too the Wednesday goalkeeping coach Andy Rhodes. In Oldham's League Cup final 22 years ago, he was their goalkeeper at Wembley against Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest. As I say, old school stadium, Boundary Park, a ground which does keep the noise in, keep the atmosphere in when full. Referee in charge today is Eddie Ilderton. Assistants are Jason Tyson, Paul Hopkinson. Scott Matheson is tonight's fourth official at Boundary Park. The Latics pre-match huddle, pre-game huddle. It all starts here. 9-10 months of blood, sweat, maybe tears along the way. English football, the new campaign is back, and the League Cup's back new. Sponsor this season with Capital One, and this the round 1 stage for these two clubs. Miguel Llera alongside Anthony Gardner, new defensive pairing for the Owls this season, as they try to secure their status in the second tier and build on from that. It is Oldham who get the game underway. It'll be a full start, a restart here. The ball has been respotted, and now we do get this game underway. Then the League Cup first round, Oldham of League One against Sheffield Wednesday of the Championship. Oldham have been losers in 6 of the last 9 campaigns at this stage. Wednesday the winners in 1991, and a big run when Atkinson. John Showden's goal at Wembley. Fought here by Jonathan Brown towards Robbie Simpson. There's Pechnik. Nice spell for Croft, and away now will come Raider Johnson. Raider Johnson, the Benin international, was a good source of goals last campaign. Here's Croft, and Croft's cross too high for Simpson, and Changamar on the far post waiting there for Oldham Athletic. Game has a good tempo so far. This is Jean-Yves Umvoto, former Paris Saint-Germain junior. How that club has evolved in recent years and changed in recent months, really. Here's Jordan Slew. Slew against Gardner. Gardner's a huge figure, isn't he? But Slew is a tricky and slippery customer. Cleared by Johnson here. Anthony Gardner, former Port Vale and Tottenham Hull defender. Throw here which were taken by Cliff Byrne, one of Oldham's summer acquisitions. Had 9 years with Scunthorpe before his free transfer here a couple of weeks ago. Well, Cliff Johnson here will... Cliff Byrne's throw comes in. Now it's back with Byrne again, and Byrne centre, and the header. No real connection. It was Robbie Simpson, who's had a very productive pre-season. There was a flag anyway. Robbie Simpson scored the first goal in their win here against the English champions Manchester City. And there he was, you see, just beyond that line of Owls defenders. Began in non-league with Cambridge City. I'm sure Jordan Slew, a man on the books of Sheffield United from the age of 11, would love to get one over the Owls here. Long towards Medine. Robbie Simpson there has been nudged by Pechnik. That's Byrne. And Byrne for Jordan Slew here. And the way was Gardner. Here goes Lee Croft. Before is James Wesolowski, an Australian under-20 international in years gone by. Now Byrne. And Byrne's driven ball here is knocked by the head of Mikel Antonio. Had a tremendous loan season last year with first Colchester and then Sheffield Wednesday. Paul Dickov now in his third Oldham season. 17th and 16th, his two finishes in League One up to this point. Here's Raider Johnson. Challenge heavy on Medine. That's going to be a free kick Wednesday's way here. Foul by James Tarkowski. Manchester born of Polish origin. Medine got 18 League One goals in last campaign. Through the back there, Tarkowski. Now that crop of very young players in this Oldham team. In goes that free kick, and Cisak has to watch it all the way. Well, Pechnik can take a tremendous dead ball, the Slovenian, and this I think was meant for the attackers, not a striker goal, but it almost became a whole lot more there for Nate Pechnik. Alex Cisak, I'm sure, will say he had that covered, but not a touch concerned. Cisak away then for Oldham. It's a Lewis Buxton throw here, the player they got from Stoke 3 years ago. Alex Cisak is mentioned by many as one of the best goalkeepers in the third tier. There's Medine on now, looking to find his strike partner for this season, Chris Maguire. They got from Derby County after a pretty poor season there after coming down from Scotland. There's Mikel Antonio. Now Jordan Slew here will chase. Out comes Kirkland to meet, and Kirkland does the obvious thing and finds touch. Well, the first 5 minutes have gone by at a fair pace and no goals as yet. Maybe one or two signs that Wednesday beginning to find their feet in the match. Jonathan Grounds here on the throw then for the Latics. Grounds here now for Jean-Yves Mvoto. Big, strong French centre-half. Mvoto looking for Jordan Slew's pace, and here is Jordan Slew. He's gone down as well. Referee looks and points, but points for a goal kick and nothing more than that. What Slew has, he has pace, he has real acceleration. He has a time in the 100 metres of 11.2 seconds as a junior. Their own lightning bolt, perhaps. Kirkland forward. Helped on here by Medine, looking for Maguire. That should be Cisak's, and is indeed Alex Cisak's ball. This is Tarkowski. Tarkowski long, Slew's pace again, the ball they look to release. Now it's with Robbie Simpson. Simpson for Croft. Now Wesolowski. Byrne. Now Croft demands and gets and looks here to find Wesolowski. The cross for Jordan Slew! The former blade for Oldham against Wednesday. Hence the beaming smile. And the League One team are off and running here with a really well-fashioned goal. Jordan Slew scores and the Latics lead. Lovely move here. On to Wesolowski here, the pullback for Jordan Slew, who finished first time magnificently. Sheffield born, only 19, made his name with you-know-who in the Steel City, and he's back now to haunt them. Back to haunt Wednesday with a goal. Slew scores, Oldham lead. Just the start the Latics wanted. Jordan Slew on 7 minutes. Wednesday on the back foot. It's his first game, hasn't played a pre-season match for them yet, so a first glimpse for the Oldham fans of Jordan Slew in Latics blue. Cisak towards Slew here, it's met by the head of Yera. Medine, smart turn, now it's Maguire. Semedo, Raider Johnson. Knocked on there by Jermaine Johnson. Tarkowski there with the improvised clearance. Croft. Given to Raider Johnson here now. Johnson. Simpson in the way for Oldham now. Robbie Simpson again for the Latics. Looks to step on the gas pedal. Well, just the start here the home team wanted, and Wednesday, who beat them home and away last season, found themselves here in arrears very early on. Jordan Slew with the initial incision of the season. Here's Raider Johnson. Chris Maguire. And Chris Maguire's shot is blocked by a couple of blue bodies. Robbie Simpson, big, strong, hold-up centre forward. Wesolowski has been dispossessed here. This is Gary Medine. Came off Semedo. Now Slew again for Robbie Simpson's power and pace. Robbie Simpson had, as I say, a really strong and impressive pre-season for Paul Dickoff's team. They got on loan first from Huddersfield last season. Didn't work out there for him. Came from non-league to join Coventry. And by Raider Johnson here for Sheffield Wednesday. Glanced on here towards Maguire by Medine. Now on Voto for Oldham. Good first 10 minutes of play here in the new season. As Robbie Simpson barged in the back, free kick, which Croft takes quickly here for Slew again. In the middle is Changama. And Slew stopped by the sliding Miguel Yera, big Spanish centre-back, formerly with MK Dons and Charlton and Blackpool. On Voto. That's Dean Furman, the Oldham captain. Back in there by Yera. On Voto. And the header down here comes to Yusuf Changama, the Comoros international. Not too many of those playing in the English game. Furman. And Changama. Now Slew tries to give Yera a problem. A little Wesolowski. Furman. Now Cliff Byrne. Alex Cisak drives that one clear towards Robbie Simpson. Holds off Raider Johnson, which is not easy to do. Johnson normally a centre half. Foul here by the Benin international. Well, Dave Jones and his team on the back foot here in the first 10 minutes. Jordan Slew on 7 minutes, the blade against the Owls. It'll be a Cliff Byrne free kick here for Oldham. Taken long by Cliff Byrne here towards Mchangama. There's Johnny Mvoto. Heavy touch there by Dean Furman. South African born, former junior with both Chelsea and the team that was Glasgow Rangers. Didn't make a first team appearance for either of those clubs, but he's Oldham's captain. Has been in squads for the Bafana, but no caps as yet. Here's Slew. And Changama's block. Slew, Simpson, Furman, nice and neat here from Oldham. And cross touch there for Simpson, nearly got him in. This is Maguire. Jermaine Johnson to switch the play here and find Mikel Antonio. Really, in his loan spell last season, looks like a tremendous player, Mikel Antonio. Got the first goal in their promotion clinching game against Wycombe Wanderers in front of a full house of 38 or so thousand at Hillsborough. I was there, and the atmosphere and the noise that day was absolutely remarkable. For a third tier game, it was something else. Antonio does possess a longish throw. Here it goes. Knocked on by Pechnik and claimed by Cisak. Pechnik scored the goal in the World Cup qualifying playoff, which saw Slovenia win against the Russians on away goals. Got the away goal in a 2-1 defeat. That was 2 years ago. Almost 3. All given away here to Wesolowski and Simpson, and now Wesolowski again. And Changama then gives the ball away, and this could be dangerous because it breaks to the pacey and lively Mikel Antonio. Antonio's ball clipped in, good ball in 2, and there's a tumble. Nadine takes a spill. Middlesbrough junior, 18 months now with the Owls, signed after a prolific spell with Carlisle United. Last season's top scorer with 18 goals in the third tier for Sheffield Wednesday. Away by Cisak. Simpson claims he was caught there by Yera. Miguel Yera, like his shirt number now, is 32. Yeah, the collision with Robbie Simpson. Just barged in there, didn't he? Let's head long towards Maguire, but too long there for Chris Maguire. Didn't work out at Derby, had a decent-ish loan spell with Portsmouth in their relegation year last season. Now has got the chance for a reboot, a fresh start with Sheffield Wednesday. Capped twice by Scotland. First quarter hour has gone by at Boundary Park. Oldham with a goal from the ex-Sheffield United striker Jordan Slew. Lead with that single goal to 0. Here's Pechnik. Furman for Mchangama, whose touch was rather heavy. Mchangama joined from Troyes in what was then the French second division they were then, and that was back in January. To score for the club. Bouncing ball here for Maguire to chase. It's come off Tarkowski. Cisak's huge clearance here towards Robbie Simpson. He'll chase those all night. Simpson, a proper old-fashioned centre forward, the number 10 for Oldham. In by Byrne, and then Wesolowski. Tarkowski into Simpson. It comes off Jose Semedo last. Jose Semedo, the captain, was Wednesday's Player of the Year last season. He signed a year ago from Charlton. Raider Johnson here, the French-born Benin international, throws in for Sheffield Wednesday. Was a really well-made goal, the one that Oldham have scored from Jordan Slew. It was such a neat passing move between the likes of Croft and Wesolowski to make the chance. Byrne here has Wesolowski nearest to him, and Croft here has been wrestled to the ground by Jermaine Johnson, the former Oldham player. And year's loan spell here back in the 03-04 season, the Jamaica international. And here fouls his man, who was Lee Croft. Well, Byrne and Tarkowski have gone forward here to join the raiding party inside that Wednesday penalty area. Oldham do have height in there in these set pieces, the likes of Tarkowski and Voto as well. Options here certainly. In goes that free kick, and it was towards Robbie Simpson. Kept alive here by Slew, the jeers from the Wednesdayites. Slew still. Slew does really well, great cross too, blocked away by Wednesday. Wesolowski, and here's Robbie Simpson. Wesolowski! Again, well fashioned. James Wesolowski scored 3 times in League One last season. He is a player who normally comes from deep. Here he and Simpson, great combination play, and that shot not too far wide. Really well carved out fashion chance here by Oldham. Jordan Slew here has had a really bright and busy and promising start. Referee Eddie Ilderton today. That's Byrne. Too long for Slew. No debut clean sheet for Chris Kirkland tonight then. His clearance, it's met by Tarkowski. And blasted forward here, and on the chase against Yera is Slew, and Kirkland there at the very edge of his box hangs on to it a yard or two further. That was going to be a red card. It's Yera. Buxton. And the goalkeeper here was, I'm sure of his bearings, but he had to be sure. Look at this. The very edge of his box. He and Yera just about on the same page of the programme, weren't they? There's Robbie Simpson, and now Changamar chases. This is Lewis Buxton for Sheffield Wednesday. Buxton towards Mikel Antonio. Great control there by Antonio. Now Yera. Yera, Medine, Raider Johnson, Jermaine Johnson. It's Miguel Yera there with a long punch looking for Mikel Antonio's pace, but well read there by Jonathan Grounds. Got the late winner here against the English champions in that friendly Manchester City. Here's Slew. Oh, Slew there was again trying to cause problems. But Oldham so far have looked good value for their 1-0 lead. It's not been a lead they've stolen, it's been one they've earned. And by Raider Johnson towards Gary Medine. Slew, little touch now for Robbie Simpson, and Changamar is with him. This is the man from Cormoros. Robbie Simpson. Simpson. Oh, Wesolowski. grounds. And now Robbie Simpson takes aim and rather shanks it. But they are making chances here, the League One team, and that's going to be a prime concern to Dave Jones, the Sheffield Wednesday manager. His team have made a painfully slow start here, it must be said. Kirkland clears. Little flick on there towards Maguire. Cisak for Oldham now. It's a long one towards Simpson. They know he'll hold the ball up well if he gets the chance. Here's Mchangama. Mchangama, Robbie Simpson. Wazalowski square. Simpson may go alone here. Back towards Mchangama. Buxton intervenes. Teams met in the League Cup only once before, over two legs 12 years ago. It's a long ball again meant for Simpson. That tie was won 12 years ago across the two legs, 8-2 by Sheffield Wednesday. Had a 3-1 success here. Semedo with a clearance. Here's Mvoto. Gardner comes here to Wesolowski. Now Tarkowski. Byrne. And Oldham and Jordan Slew can be very pleased with their first quarter of this match. It's been a bright start. This the goal. Croft and Wesolowski involved in it. Wesolowski's pullback here, and Jordan Slew's first time finish was that of a striker with real potential. Blackburn paid the thick end of £1 million for him a year ago. This is Miguel Llera. And Furman in with the high boot, did well to head that, and then Slew has been caught by Semedo. Will be a free kick for Oldham in a pretty good area of the field here for them. Again, Slew there was too hot to handle. Jose Semedo, the former Sporting junior in Portugal. The Owls player of last season. Here is given this free kick away in what might be for Oldham a pretty good area. And Voto offers real height and presence here for the Latics. Tarkowski likewise. That's far too deep though. He'll take better, that's for sure. Yusuf Mchangama. Marseille born, but as I say, a Comoros international. You hear there the Wednesdayites, the fans behind Kirkland's goal, in good voice urging their side on. It's been a very slow start so far, and here now goes Jordan Slew again. Well, Slew's had a great start to this game. It's still Jordan Slew here, and Llera forced to concede the corner. Well, pace can be such a factor, such a weapon, and Slew has that in bucket loads. Llera and Gardner are two fairly immobile centre-halves, and a player like Slew can do real damage against them. Slew stands on the toes of Pechnik. In goes that Oldham corner. Tarkowski will try and retrieve. Tarkowski then with maybe a hint of a follow-through. Antonio is okay, but I think he felt that from Tarkowski. Here's Croft, and Croft's cross, and Mvoto! Well, Oldham take a 2-goal lead here inside the first half. And Dave Jones and Sheffield Wednesday are in disarray in the first period. Oldham here got on with things quickly. Croft again had a big hand in the first goal, big one in the second from Voto here. His cross turned home, and Jean-Yves Voto gives the Latics clear breathing space here. 2 goals up now on Championship Sheffield Wednesday. Jean-Yves Voto scored just once last season, off and running here in game number 1 of the new campaign. Wednesday feel furious here that the kick was taken quickly before they were ready. Jean-Yves Voto, 2-0 for the Latics. Here comes Croft again. He's had a good game so far. Looks now for Simpson in the centre forward position. This is Jermaine Johnson, the jeers for the former Oldham player. Comes back to Raider Johnson. Jermaine Johnson's mistake. Furman nips in for the Latics, and now it's going to be a free kick for Sheffield Wednesday. Tarkowski made the heavy tackle, didn't he, here on Antonio. There he follows through, doesn't he? Does win the ball, let's say that. But from that, Oldham kept possession, went on and scored the second goal. No foul given, and the goal is good. This free kick is being delayed for the substitution. There's going to be, I think, a yellow card shown for time wasting here for Pechnik. He was saying, look, we're waiting for the change, but the referee wants the free kick taken first before they can bring on Chris O'Grady in place of Gary Medine. Pechnik gets the game's first yellow card here and argues his case. Says, look, we have a player about to come on, let us do that first, but not Eddie Ilderton's order of proceedings. In by Pechnik here for Wednesday. Vieira at the far post. Came off on Changamar last. And now they can make the change. It is going to be indeed Medine, who was a doubt for this game with a minor injury. And will come a former Oldham striker in Chris O'Grady. Didn't score here in 17 League and Cup games. Well, they got it a year ago from Rochdale. Here's Pechnik. Antonio. And makes Pechnik again to get the cross in, but he's offside here now, the Slovenian. He's had a rather frustrating first half an hour as a Wednesday play. You see there the pack on the knee, is it, of Medine, and Medine, their top scorer last season. Well, that picture, you'd say, would be a doubt for their first league game of the season, which comes this coming weekend. And the second goal, Jean-Yves Voto for Oldham. Not a regular scorer, but as I say, it's set pieces and in the box, he's with his aerial threat a real menace. And by Buxton. And Voto now towards Sloop. Curved and clear, it's up into the air here, and Furman is beneath this with Semedo. There's Alowski, and Changamar's touch, tries to find Croft. Raider Johnson for Wednesday. You'd say that thus far the transfer work done by Paul Dickhoff looks really good business. Here's Robbie Simpson. Oldham here on fire in the first half. Robbie Simpson now. Out to Croft. Croft's cross, a little long that time, but put behind for a corner by Lewis Buxton. Oldham with a very strong first half hour. They are well worth this 2-goal lead they have. And that sizable Wednesdayite travelling support behind the goal. Like their team here, a touch shell-shocked. Floated cross, should be the goalkeeper's, is Chris Curtin's ball, and now he can reset and reboot and get his team going again. Up to Antonio. Antonio against Wesolowski. Antonio still here, he's got good pace. Stopped in his tracks there by Tarkowski. Oldham 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. This has not been the half Wednesday planned. It'll be Nate's Pechnik corner. Miguel Llera there with Tarkowski in the middle. And Voto watching Anthony Gardner, flicked on the near post and flicked across goal and wide of goal. Maguire and Wednesday, the attacking force, hasn't fired yet. Maguire there with a little flick on, but no one there to get the finishing touch in yellow, was there? Well, first games and teams waiting to gel, of course, but I'd say Oldham so far look really good value, and I'm sure they will approach their game of the weekend at MK Dons, their first league game of the season, with real confidence. Too high that for Mchangama. Buxton throws in. Too long for O'Grady. And goes Buxton there with Mchangama. That's going to be a foul against Mchangama. Wednesday's quick free kick into Gardner here. Gardner for Raider Johnson. Well, Croft has earned a real ovation there. He's had a very lively and creative first half. This is his second Oldham debut. Had a loan spell here 8 years ago now from his formative club Manchester City. Cliff Byrne out of harm's way. There's Jermaine Johnson. Would have been had not for Zalewski's intervention. Raider Johnson now. Maguire out-muscled there by Croft, and his breakout ball for Slew. Across comes Llera. Buxton, it's a decent knock into Antonio, and Changamar there for Oldham though, and then the ball down the line will try and find Simpson. Oldham didn't lose in 5 friendly matches. Wins at Mossley, York and Fleetwood Town before the win here against Dickov's old team Manchester City. Last game was a goalless draw with another team from Wednesday's league, Huddersfield Town. Here's Grounds. Grounds for Furman. And Voto back to Cisak. A job well done by the Latics, you'd say, on this first half evidence. Slew and Voto with the goals up to now. There's Furman, and Furman for Robbie Simpson. Simpson, Furman, Grounds. Very neat and punchy, the passing from Oldham so far. Their first half display has been an absolute joy to watch. Here's Jordan Slew. Buxton out of play, but Oldham, the way they've kept the ball, the way they've passed the ball here, the surface very good, of course, being August, but their football in this first half has been an absolute joy. He got the first, the initial incision of season 2012-13. And there's the jousting, the jostling in the penalty area. And Changamar with the Oldham corner. And the header in towards that 6-yard box. It's come to Kirkland in the end. Down there with the connection. Here's Isle of Wight born Lewis Buxton, former Portsmouth and Stoke City player, 3 years now with Sheffield Wednesday. Here's Anthony Gardner. Like his goalkeeper, capped once by England, that was against Sweden under Sven-Göran Eriksson 8 years ago now, came on as a sub for John Terry. There's Buxton now for Semedo. Jermaine Johnson, now Nate's Pechnik. Pechnik through, and helped on there by Maguire towards O'Grady. Slew, good control, reverse ball for Robbie Simpson. Anthony Gardner reads the intention. Gardner, and the touch here for Pechnik, is going to come to O'Grady. Now it's Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson still here for Wednesday. Good ball out to Mikel Antonio. And he's got Raider Johnson. This is Antonio still. Antonio here with the lovely run. Tarkowski with a big boot to bring that promising play to a close for Sheffield Wednesday. This better from the Championship club, brighter from them. There's O'Grady now for Raider Johnson. Mikel Antonio, pace, danger. In goes the cross, Cisak. He'll take those all night. Next home game here, the first home league game, is next Tuesday when Walsall come here for a League One match. Off to Stadium MK at the weekend for their opener against the Milton Keynes Dons. Simpson there with the chest control, Miguel Llera with the clearance, little flick on here too, and here's the danger, here's the option, it's Maguire, and Maguire fires wide of the mark. Didn't work out at Derby last season with him. Maguire loaned out then to Portsmouth, but hoping here for a new lease of life with Sheffield Wednesday. There's a good chance for his first goal for the club, gone by. Really a scuff connection. Former Aberdeen striker. There's Llera. Helped on its way by Semedo, back in there by Furman, and again Dean Furman now for Lee Croft. Croft looks to escape Semedo's attention. He's done just that now. He's found Furman and Simpson, and now Croft again, and the cross is meant for Slew. It's met by the kneeling almost Lewis Buxton. Croft in very strongly. Here's Jordan Slew, and Slew tricky here, a real handful. Jordan Slew across goal. Crossall shot, not sure myself, but it looked to be quite close to the bottom corner. Another change here for Wednesday. Maguire's going to come off, so they're going to change in the first half here. Both their forwards. Maguire coming off, and Giles Coke, who was loaned out last season to Bury in League One, will come on to replace him. Maybe another injury. Wednesday here have lost two players in the first half, both their forwards replaced. Here's Umchangama, Miguel Llera there for Sheffield Wednesday. Well, could the half have gone any worse for Wednesday? 2 goals down and 2 players down in terms of both their starting strikers taken off. So now we have a front two of Coke and O'Grady. Alex Cisak cares for Oldham up towards Simpson here, met by Gardner. Now Croft has been a great architect so far in the game. It's Croft with a cross, Changama with a volley, and maybe the cushion pass into Slew was the better option. Well, they will believe this first half display will bode well for the season, Oldham, and you'd be hard pressed to argue with that view. As for Wednesday, well, that drawing board will be going back to, I think, come the next training session, even half time. Would be a minor shock, I guess. These teams were in the same division last season, but Wednesday did win both matches without conceding. 2-0 success here at Boundary Park. There's Slew. Oldham's League Cup love affair. They had that final back in 1990, around a time when they had a really good cup team as a second division team under Joe Royle. You may recall reaching an FA Cup semi and taking the eventual 1990 FA Cup winners to a replay, Manchester United. Here's Mikel Antonio. Antonio turns and holds off 3 in blue shirts, and in the end sheer weight of numbers appear to win out, but the ball is given back, and here's Jermaine Johnson, hint of handball, and the whistle's gone for handball against the Jamaican. Five years ago he joined from Bradford. Just the handball there. Maybe shoulder, maybe a harsh call. Not Wednesday's half. Simpson. Jermaine Johnson towards Chris O'Grady. Miguel Angel Llera. Never played in the Spanish lower divisions. Jose Semedo there caught by a pretty rough-looking challenge by Robbie Simpson. Well, can they find a goal before half-time here Wednesday to give them a base camp to build from and to push on from in the second half? Here's Giles Coke. Raider Johnson. Into Pechnik. Pechnik now for Mikel Antonio. Came off on Voto. Johnson with a throw in towards Pechnik here. Holds off Byrne. Referee says that's okay, play can go on here. Came off Pechnik last. Here's Mikel Antonio. Antonio goes down, referee looks and points. That's a penalty. Dave's Jones' team here have been thrown a lifeline before half-time. And Croft, who'd been such a good creator in terms of Oldham goals, he will have made one here for Sheffield Wednesday. There's the deflection, there's the break, and there is the barge in the back by Croft on Mikel Antonio. There is contact, it is, I think, the right call. Referee was right on the spot there, wasn't he? On his debut then, the Slovenian Nate Pechnik. To pull a goal back here, Pechnik from the spot, skies it! Dear me! The man whose goal once qualified Slovenia for a World Cup can't convert from 12 yards of boundary park. Over the top by a long distance. Pechnik fails. It stays 2-0. One of those halves, eh, Dave? There's Robbie Simpson. That's for Nchangama. Pechnik's first half in English football has been, let's say, varied. Yellow card and missed penalty. And the two neat touches. There's O'Grady. By Byrne for Oldham. There's Raider Johnson now for Antonio. Stopped in his tracks by Cliff Byrne for Oldham. He's always a very steady Eddie for Scunthorpe, was Byrne. Spent 9 years there in the first now of 2 first half added minutes. Wozolowski there battling away. It's Antonio for Sheffield Wednesday. O'Grady against Tarkovsky. O'Grady here still twists and turns. Can he get a cross in? He does. Met by Grounds. And now Simpson breaks, and Simpson barged over there by Giles Coke. Not a good half to be a Wednesdayite. Final minute of first half stoppage time. Jordan Slew and Johnny Van Voto the scorers. Cisak here little too long, it's met by Buxton. There's Semedo, Pechnik, came up from Voto last, here's Antonio. Antonio driving at them here with pace and purpose and menace, but knocked away there by Croft. Quick corner, Pechnik. And driven in by O'Grady, blocked away with relative ease by Jonathan Grounds. First half has only, 15 seconds or so left to run at Boundary Park. Is there time for one last first half chance here for Sheffield Wednesday? Corner taken by Pechnik. And it goes far too long. As the whistle goes, Oldham with the perfect half, but Wednesday, it could not have gone any worse really. Jordan Slew, the former Blades player, against Sheffield Wednesday, scored the first goal. The second from Jean-Yves Voto after a free kick wasn't given for a Tarkovsky challenge on Mikel Antonio. Wednesday did miss a penalty after Croft had pushed over Antonio. Missed by debut-making Slovenian Nate Pechnik. Half-time score here. League One Oldham lead by 2-0 against Sheffield Wednesday.
MLB Mashup, Sportsnet.ca. Down here, a little more. Look right here. Do I have your